Hi fashion lovers, welcome back to my channel. Here in today's video tutorial, I will be sharing with you all how to make this trendy cowl neckline dress with drawstring. It's going to be a detailed step-by-step video tutorial. All you have to do is watch till the end, subscribe, like, comment and share with friends. And if you are new to my channel, thanks for stopping by. To all my amazing subscribers, both new and returning subscribers, you all are welcomed. So guys, let's get started. And here is my 3 yards of fabric, my zipper and the basic measurement that I will be using for this video tutorial. On my pattern paper here is her horizontal basic body block. From shoulder to her chest line here is 9 inches, to her bust line here is 10 inches, and to her waistline or her half length is 16 inches. Then I made it 16.5 inches, adding half an inch to it. And the video tutorial on how to draft your basic body block is available on this channel. Go ahead and check it out, okay? For her shoulder measurement here, I used 16 inches, and 16 inches divided by 2 is going to give me 8 inches, which is this point here, okay? Then I'm going to get her armhole curve. For her armhole curve, her armhole length here is 8 inches, and the midpoint here is going to be 4 inches, okay? Then from the midpoint, I'm also going to go in here by 1 inch, okay? Coming down to the chest line, I'm going to take her bust circumference, and her bust circumference of 38 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 8.8 inches, which is this point here. Then I'm also going to add 1.5 inch hemming allowance here, okay? I'll go ahead to connect my armhole curve. The next thing that I'm going to do here is to take her dart, and to do that, coming over to the bust line, I'm going to take her bust palm measurement, and her bust palm measurement of 8 inches divided by 2 is going to give me 4 inches. So I'm going to take 4 inches at the bust line and also at the waistline. Can you see what I'm doing? Which is this point, okay? I'll go ahead and draw a straight line connecting my marked points. Then at the waistline here, I'm going to create my dart, okay? At the bust palm line, I'm going to take out half an inch from both sides of my bust palm line, okay? This, which is this point that you are seeing here. Then I'm going to come down from my bust line. I'm going to move down here by 1 inch, which is this point here. Then I'm going to go ahead to create my dart, okay? Also, for the bust dart, I'm also going to move down here by 1 inch, which is this point, okay? This is for the bust dart or the side dart. The next thing that I'm going to do here, I'm going to take my basic body measurements, okay? So coming over to the bust line, her bust circumference of 38 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5 inches. I made a mistake of 8.8 inches, but thank goodness I added 1.5 inch hemming allowance, okay? Do not make the same mistake. To the waistline, her waist circumference of 33.5 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 8.5 inches, okay? Which is this point. I'm going to add up my dart space of 1 inch, which is this point here, okay? Then add 1.5 inch hemming allowance. So I'll go ahead now to connect my marked points. This is it for the basic body, okay? Then for the neckline, is going to be a crumb neckline, okay? So I'm going to leave the neckline plain like this, okay? So I'll go ahead now and cut this out. This is for the front crown neck pattern, okay? And you can see I've gone ahead to take out the darts, okay? Can you see what I have here? Then let me go ahead now and cut this on my fabric. So guys, after folding, this is what I have. You can see I fold together with the interfacing, okay? This is what I have after folding, okay? Then I will be placing my pattern paper. Can you see how I placed my pattern? I'm placing my pattern paper. Okay, so from my neckline width point, I'm going to take the length of my cowl neck opening, and the length that I'm making use of is about 9.5 inches. You can equally make use of more than 9.5 inches depending on the length you want. Okay, then I'll go ahead and trace this out as to cut out my front cowl neck pattern. Also, do well to hit on the subscription button, subscribe to this channel, like, comment and share with your friends. Okay, so guys, this is what I have. Can you see my crown neck? Okay, and here is the interfacing. Can you see the interfacing? So this is the shoulder line. Can you see the shoulder line? So guys, this is for the front pattern cowl neck. Okay, then let's go ahead and cut the back pattern. To draft for the back pattern, okay, on my pattern paper here is my zipper allowance, and my zipper allowance here is about 1 inch. So here is the shoulder line, the chest line, bust line and the waist line, or the half length. Okay, then the next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the back pattern neckline length. For her back pattern neckline length, I will be taking 1.5 inches, which is this point here. Okay, for the back pattern neckline width, what I have here is 4 inches. I'm using 4 inches for her back pattern neckline width. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut for the back pattern neckline. I'm also going to take her armhole curve. Okay, coming over to her armhole length, I'm going to take her midpoint of 4 inches. Okay, to the chest line, I will be taking her bust circumference, and her bust circumference of 38 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5 inches. Then I will be adding 1.5 inch here. Okay, which is this point here. Then I'll go ahead and connect my armhole for the back pattern. Then the next thing to do here is I'm going to take my bust palm measurement at the bust line. Okay, so coming over to the bust line, my bust palm of 8 inches divided by 2 is going to give me 4 inches. So I'm going to take 4 inches at the bust line and also at the waistline here. Okay, I'm going to take my dart for the back pattern. Okay, for my back pattern dart, my dart length here is going to be 12 inches for the back pattern dart. Okay, I'm taking a straight line back pattern dart. Okay, then I will be extending my bust palm line. Then at the waistline, I'm going to take out 1/2 inch from both sides. Then the next thing to do here is to take my basic body measurement. So to the bust line, I'm going to take my bust circumference of 38 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5 inch. 9.5 inches plus 1.5 inch hemming allowance, which is this point here. Okay, down to the waistline, her waist circumference of 33.5 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 8.5 inches, which is this point. Then I'll be adding up 1 inch for my dart leg, that space. Okay, which is this point. Then add 1 inch, 1.5 inches hemming allowance, which is this point. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect all my marked points. To contour for my back pattern, I will be taking out 0.6 inches at the waistline of my back pattern, just the way you see me doing it here. Then I went ahead to slope my line. So guys, this is for the back pattern. Okay, then I'll go ahead now and cut this out. This is all for the back pattern. Okay, I'll go ahead now and cut it out on my fabric. to draft for the skirt part. Okay, on my pattern paper here is the waistline, the hip line, and the hemline. I'll be using this pattern to draft for both the front and the back pattern of the skirt part. Okay, so coming over to the waistline, I'm going to take her waist circumference, and her waist circumference of 33.5 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 8.5 inches, which is this point here. Then I'm also going to add 1.5 inches hemming allowance, which is this point here, down to the hip line. Her hip circumference of 43 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 10.8 inches, which is this point here. Then I'm also going to add my 1.5 inch hemming allowance, which is this point here. Okay, then I'm going to measure what I have here. So what I have here at the hip line is going to be 12.2 inches. Okay, I will be taking it down to the hemline, which is this point here. Okay, then I will be taking out 1 inch. I'll take out 1 inch from it. Okay, then I'll go ahead and connect my marked points. So guys, this is it for the skirt pattern. Okay, then also coming over to the waistline. Okay, at the hemline here, I'll be moving up here by 1/2 inch, which is this point here. Okay, then I'm going to connect it to meet the waistline center point, just the way you see me doing it here. And also, if you notice here, I didn't insert my darts, okay, because this is an A-line dress, okay, with drawstring. So guys, this is how to draft your basic skirt. Okay, from the waistline down to the hip line here is 10 inches, and the dress length is going to be 46 inches. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out. Okay, after cutting, this is what I have. Then I'll take this now to cut out for both the front and the back pattern of the skirt part. Okay, and while cutting for the back pattern, I'll be adding 1 inch for my zipper allowance. Okay, to cut for the skirt part, I went ahead to fold my fabric into 4 as to cut for both the front and the back pattern. Okay, then here I went ahead to subtract 16 inches, which is the half length, as to get my actual dress length, just the way you see me doing it here. Then I went ahead to trace it out. I also added my zipper allowance of 1 inch. To create the skirt part A-line, at the hemline of my fabric, I added about 6 inches, then marked my point and trace it out, just the way you see me doing it here. Also do well to hit on the subscription button, subscribe to this channel, like, comment and share with your friends. And if you have any question regarding to this tutorial, drop it on the comment section. I will be there to attend to you. After that, I also went ahead to cut it out. And after cutting, this is what we have. Okay, so guys, for the front cowl neck pattern, this is what I have after cutting. Okay, then I will be fixing it to the skirt part. Okay, here is the A-line skirt part. I will be fixing it to the skirt part, and before that I will have to attach my drawstring. Okay, for the skirt part here, this is the waistline, and here this point here is the midpoint. Okay, is the midpoint. Then from the midpoint, I'm going to move out here by 4.5 inches, which is this point. Can you see that? And for my drawstring, I've gone ahead to cut out my straps. Okay, can you see that? Then this line here is where I'll be running my stitches, so I'll be placing it like this. Can you see what I'm doing? And the length of this strap here is 11.5 inches. Okay, I'll pin it up. So guys, after pinning, I'll take it to my sewing machine and run a stretch stitches up to the down hem of the strap, which is this point here. Okay, before inserting the straps. Okay, so guys, I'm done with stitching up my straps. Can you see that? Okay, I'm done with stitching up. Then I'll take in my straps. Okay, Can you see that? I'll take it in. So guys, this is it. Can you see my straps? This is what I have. Okay, then I will be fixing the upper part of this dress. So this is the curl part, the upper curl neckline part. I'll take this now to my sewing machine to hem this part, okay, using 1/2 inch. And for the back pattern, I'm gonna head to insert my interfacing, okay. Can you see that? Also applied my hemming gum to the neckline. Can you see the back pattern? Okay, also I've gone ahead to insert the dart. This is it. I'll also go ahead now to fix my zipper for the back pattern, okay. To cut for the sleeve, I went ahead to arrange my sleeve pattern on my fabric as to cut it out, okay. Then I added 1/2 inch to the length of my sleeve pattern, just the way you see me doing it here in this video. Also, the video tutorial on how to draft or cut a basic sleeve is available on this channel. Do well to check it out if you're interested in learning how to draft or cut your basic sleeve, okay. So guys, for my crown neck dress, I've gone ahead to stitch up the shoulder, okay. I've gone ahead to join the back pattern and the front crown neck dress together, okay. Then I've gone ahead to pin up the sides. Can you see what I have here? Okay, this is it. Then for the back, I've also gone ahead to fix the zipper, okay. Can you see what we have here? Then the next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to trim down the excess that I have at the shoulder line, okay, for the front pattern. Can you see what I have here? So I'll be trimming this excess. This is what I have for the back pattern. Can you see the back pattern? This is for the front pattern. Then the next thing to do here, I'm going to hem the sides, okay. So I'll be taking my basic body measurement here. So to the bust line here, I'm going to take my bust circumference of 38 inches divided by 2 is going to give me 19 inches, okay. So what I have here, I'll mark my 19 inches point. Then my remaining allowance here is 1.5 inches, okay. 1.5 inches divided by 2 halves will be giving me 0.6 inches. So I'll mark 0.6 inches point here and 0.6 inches point here, okay. This is for my hemming. Then to the waistline, her waist circumference of 33.5 inches divided by 2 is going to give me 16.8 inches, which is this point here, okay. Then I'll measure what I have here. What I have here is about 3 inches, okay. So 3 inches divided by 2 halves is going to give me 1.5 inches. So I'll be taking 1.5 inches at the waistline side here, okay. I went ahead to connect my marked points just the way you see me doing it here. Down to the hip line, remember that we added 1.5 inches to the hip line while cutting for the skirt part, okay. So I'll be using 1.5 inches to hem at the skirt part, okay. So this is it for our dress pattern. I've gone ahead to stitch up the sides, okay, shape my dress pattern, okay. And this is what I have. Then I'm going to trim down the excess armhole that I have here. The next thing to do here is to fix my sleeve. And to fix my sleeve, this is my sleeve, okay. So I'll be fixing it with the labeled part, the side front, okay. This is the front part. I'm going to use my pin to pin it up. Okay, side front of my sleeve facing the side front. So guys, after pinning, this is what I have. Okay, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine to stitch up my sleeve. Okay, can you see what I have here? This is for the sleeve. Okay, so I'll stitch this up. Okay, the same applies to the other sleeve pattern. Okay, and finally guys, this is my end result. You can see how neat and beautiful my dress turned out to be. Do well to hit on the subscription button, subscribe to this channel, like, comment and share with your friends. And if you have any question regarding to this tutorial, do well to drop it on the comment section. I will be there to attend to you. Thank you guys for watching and see you on my next free video tutorial. Bye.